Welcome, future MBAs. Applying to a top business school is a marathon, not just a sprint. And your resume is often the very first impression you make. It's your chance to showcase your full potential at the very first glance. A well crafted resume doesn't simply list your past, it strategically markets your future aspirations and capabilities to admissions committees. Also, remember that admissions officers often have just about 20 to 30 seconds to skim your resume before they decide on whether to even pursue further. That's why every word, every space, and every accomplishment you highlight truly counts. So in this video, let's dive into the top 11 resume fixes that can dramatically boost your MBA application. Fix number 1. Keep it to one page. A one-page resume is the industry standard for MBA applications. It shows that you respect the reader's time and can prioritize effectively, both of which are critical leadership traits. Long resumes dilute impact, while concise ones highlight only what truly matters. Since admissions committees usually scan resumes for about 20 to 30 seconds, every inch of the real estate is precious. So don't let your strongest points get lost in fillers. Here are a few practical tips to keep in mind. Use a clean template. Templates from top consulting firms or schools like Harvard are designed for clarity and one-page formats. Some schools may even have specific templates and you're required to follow them. Focus on your last 2 to 3 major roles and align them with your MBA narrative. Earlier jobs can be grouped under a heading like other roles or omitted if not impactful. Keep 3 to 6 bullets per role, starting with your most impressive accomplishments. Remove bullets that duplicate tasks or lack measurable impact. A proven strategy for maximum punch is to start with an action verb and then give some numbers. For example, increased revenue by 30%. Use 11 or 12 size font, 0.5 or 1 inch margins on both sides and suitable line spacing. Minimize section headers and location details to save space wherever possible. Remember, white space is not only visually pleasing but also essential for readability and impact. Fix 2. Focus on achievements, not just responsibilities. MBA programs care about the impact you have created, not just what your job responsibilities were. Duties describe what you are supposed to do. Achievements show what you actually did and how well you did it. Your resume should answer, what change have I caused in this role? Metrics, scale, outcomes elevate an average resume into a compelling one. That's what makes your story both credible and memorable. So consider the following actionable suggestions. Begin each bullet with a strong action verb. Led, launched, improved, generated, negotiated, etc. followed by the result. For example, instead of responsible for managing client accounts, say managed 15 client accounts, improving retention by 25%. Use the CAR format for each bullet, that is context, action, and result. It keeps your bullets sharp and value-packed. For example, streamlined reporting processes, that's the context, by building automated dashboard, that's the action, reducing manual effort by 40%, that's the result. Avoid effort-based bullets with no outcomes. Ask, what change have I caused, and revise accordingly. Make sure that the change is visible. Numbers give your claims credibility. Quantify results with data. It may be revenue, users, deadlines, team size, etc. For example, increased app engagement by 50% over 3 months is much stronger than simply saying improved user experience. Fix 3. Use résumé-speak, not full sentences. MBA resumes are designed to be scanned quickly. Full sentences slow the reader down. So résumé-speak is clear, direct, and economical. You want each line to do the heavy lifting. Developed new client onboarding system, increasing retention by 20% is far more impactful than a long explanation of the same. Keep your tone professional, active, and crisp. Let's break it down with a few practical pointers. Remove all pronouns and filler words. For example, I was responsible for launching a new sales strategy could be strongly written as launched new sales strategy boosting Q2 revenue by 18%. Trim connectors and unnecessary prepositions. Cut that, which, of, to, and similar words when they don't add any specific clarity. For example, created dashboard that was used by teams might become created dashboards used by cross-functional teams. Start bullets with past tense verbs for past roles and present tense verb for current roles. Keep formatting consistent. For example, if one bullet starts with led, the next shouldn't start with was responsible for leading. Tools like Hemingway or Grammarly can help catch wordiness and passive voice. Fix 4. Prioritize content based on importance and recency. Your resume should be strategic, not just a chronological account or timeline. Admissions officers want to see recent, more relevant achievements in spotlight as compared to the previous ones. Your most recent full-time post-college roles should dominate, while older or less relevant roles should be shorter unless they are directly aligned with your overall narrative. The following tips can help you implement this effectively. First of all, ask yourself, would I talk about this in an interview? If not, trim it down or cut it altogether. Use the top half of your resume for high-impact recent accomplishments. For roles within the last 3 to 5 years that align with your MBA goals, emphasize leadership, growth, and outcomes. You may want to combine earlier roles under one heading or summarize with 1 or 2 bullet points unless they are highly relevant to your narrative. Give more space to experiences that directly connect with your future, even if they aren't your most recent. Use keywords and metrics to show relevance. Save the bottom quarter of the page for education and extracurriculars unless they are particularly important for your narrative. Fix 5. Ensure visual appeal and white space. A cluttered resume is hard to read and harder to remember. White space guides the reader's eye and makes your accomplishments easier to spot and digest. Strong formatting reflects strong communication skills. And yes, visual design affects how your profile is perceived. So here is how you can put this in action. Use 11 or 12 size fonts and bold section headers. Don't shrink text to squeeze in more content. Maintain 1.15 or 1.5 line spacing. Keep bullet points to 2 lines max. Use clean professional fonts like Calibri, Garamond, Cambria, or Arial. Use clear headers like professional experience, education, leadership and involvement, and skills. Maintain uniform spacing between sections. Print your resume before finalizing. If it looks dense or hard to read on paper, revise the layout and spacing. Fix number 6. Show a coherent career plan. Your resume should hint at where you are headed, not just where you have come from. Whether your career path is linear or varied, it should point towards your post-MBA goals. Admissions committees look for purpose and intentionality. So check out these hands-on strategies. Highlight progression. Show how each role built on the previous one. You can show greater responsibility, broader scope, or even deeper skills. For example, promoted to lead client strategy within 12 months or expanded scope from 1 to 3 regions. Now, both of these will show progression. Even if your path isn't linear, find a common theme, maybe problem solving or leadership or domain interest. For example, if you move from engineering to product management, you may want to emphasize on tech-driven decision making all throughout. Feature side hustles, initiatives, or clubs that support your overall goals. For example, if your goals are aligned with impact investing, then something like volunteer fundraiser, microfinance NGO builds credibility in that direction. Fix 7. Highlight uniqueness and personal dimensions. Top programs seek capable, compelling individuals. Your resume is a great place to show that you are more than just your job. Unique extracurriculars, awards, and cultural experiences help you stand out and often spark great interview conversations. To apply this, start with the following tips. Use the bottom section, say 1 or 2 lines about interests or accomplishments. For example, volunteering, creative pursuits, athletics, or cultural involvement. Let's take one concrete example. Founder of Street Photography Collective with 5,000 plus followers, completed 3 marathons, taught English to refugee students. Mention awards, fellowships, and recognitions, even the informal ones such as a hackathon win. Show global or cross-cultural exposure. Use words like cross-functional, multicultural, or international collaboration. Avoid vague hobbies. Be concrete and specific. For example, instead of saying reading, traveling, and fitness, say sci-fi novel collector, certified scuba diver, export 24 countries focusing on local food systems. Now, this kind of a small rewrite will add a lot of specificity to your profile. Fix number 8, tailor to fit school culture and strengths. Your core resume stays the same, but subtle tweaks can show fit with particular school's values. Some programs emphasize data-driven thinking, others value innovation or impact. So aligning your language and highlights with the school's culture shows that you have done your homework. Here are several ways to put this in practice. Read the school's site. Identify 2 or 3 keywords that they commonly emphasize. Then reflect those naturally in your resume. For example, at Ross, action-based learning is highlighted. So you may want to focus a little bit on entrepreneurial efforts in your resume. Whereas in MIT Sloan, data-driven leadership is valued, so you may want to showcase analytical accomplishments. Sprinkle in school-specific themes, for example, inclusive impact or principled leaderships. Basically, any characteristic that the school values and something that can be genuinely reflected in your story. Rearrange sections if needed. Some schools might value community involvement more than other things. So in that case, you may want to put that part higher up and maybe degrees and educational qualifications a bit lower. Fix 9. Be truthful, precise, and avoid exaggeration. Authenticity builds trust. Inflated or vague claims invite scrutiny, and schools do verify details. So always be accurate and align your resume with what your recommenders would write. You might find these practical insights useful. If there is a career gap or pivot, own it briefly and professionally. You may even want to offer an explanation in the optional essay. Don't stretch dates or merge roles to hide it. Gaps can show maturity and learning if they are framed that way. Ask yourself, would my recommender agree with this bullet? If not, tone it down. Stick to verifiable facts. Avoid superlatives. For example, ranked top 5 out of 60 analysts is better than best analyst in the company. Have a trusted friend review and flag anything that feels exaggerated. Fix 10. Include high impact extracurriculars and volunteer work. Leadership isn't limited to your job. Many top programs value community involvement and initiatives beyond work. A strong story outside of your 9 to 5 job can set you apart. So these step-by-step steps can guide you forward. Use a clear section like leadership and community involvement. Don't bury it under other information. Prioritize depth over breadth. One strong, long-term initiative beats 5 casual volunteering stints. Choose achievements that reflect key traits: teamwork, initiative taking, empathy, public speaking, etc. For example, coaching a sports team, leading TEDx initiative, or hosting financial literacy workshops will go a long way. Use bullets like work experience. For example, organized STEM outreach for 200 plus students. Skip generic interests or memberships unless they show some leadership trait in them. Fix 11. Address academic weaknesses proactively. If your GPA or test scores are weak, your resume can help counterbalance that, especially if you have demonstrated an initiative to close the gap. Admissions committees respect self-awareness and growth mindset. So let's take a look at some real-world tactics you can use. Use your work experience to show that you can succeed in a data-heavy or analytical role. For example, build a forecasting model that is used in Rs 20 crore product launch strategy. If your GPA improved over time or your quant grades were strong, include that in your optional essay, not just on your resume. For example, for an essay, you might write something like, GPA shows upward trend with 3.7 in final 2 years and strong performance in quantitative courses. Include relevant certifications or online courses. For example, financial accounting, HBS online, grade A. If a course is ongoing, you might even write in progress, expected completion by September 2025. So in conclusion, mastering these 11 resume fixes can significantly enhance your MBA application and set you apart from the competition. It's about being strategic in how you present yourself, being impactful in what you highlight, and authentic in showing who you are. Invest the time, be meticulous, and let your unique value shine through. So, which of these tips will you apply first on your resume? Please let us know in comments. If you're serious about getting into a top business school, your resume has to have more than just a listing of jobs. It needs to convey leadership, growth, and readiness for the next big move. So if you want expert help, head over to stateadmins.com to get personalized support or book a free one-on-one strategy session with me. See you in the next one.